Yeah, the local media has an agenda that they're going to serve. I don't know who's in charge of it or what it is, if it's like a headless monster.
You know, I was pretty happy with that one gerbils the other night.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good pizza.
Yeah. Fat wallets and empty hearts. Which...
Fat wallets, empty hearts.
It's insane how little musicians get. So, yeah, if you're interested in support, not just me, but any musician that you like, one of the best ways to do that, it sounds old school because it is purchase their music, purchase their merch, you know.
Hey guys, this is Mark from Rat Rod.
Hi, this is Mikey P from Skell.
Hey, this is Jeff from the Bell Jumpers.
Probably be Paul, because he's awesome.
This is Jessica for the band Dimitus. You're listening to Pennsylvania Rock Show.
What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 771. We just heard 3 tracks at the top of the show. We heard Zilch. Let me do this in the correct order. We heard Divine Tragedy and their song Requiem of Flames. Then we heard Skell, Everything's Fine. And then we heard Zilch, Betrayal. And the whole purpose of listening to those 3 off the top is so that I could tell you on May 10th at the Craft House, there is the Zilch 20th anniversary show, which will be opened by Divine Tragedy and Skell. And you can go get tickets for that from Dresky Entertainment or from any of those bands. With that said, I do want to remind you, you're tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show on music20412.com, buildascene.com, xrpradio.co.uk in Scotland, roodooradio.com out of Texas and California, and megarockradio.net and 107.1 KFGD out of St. Louis, Missouri. This is episode 771, as I mentioned, and with me tonight, I meant to ask you off the air. Am I calling you by your name or by your stage name?
Well, let me think. Well, let's go with Ian Hemi for now.
Okay. So with me tonight is Ian Hemi of Silicon Kong. If you're not familiar with Silicon Kong, I would use the word unique to describe it.
Thank you.
So if I remember correctly, you were playing bass.
Yes.
And then you have some very intricate backing tracks that you've created. And that's where I want to start out. How, like, to get one track so you can play it live, how much time do you have to put into that?
It really depends on the song and what how many parts are in it. I mean, I've done songs where it's just been bass and drums and vocals, and I've done songs where I've had whole orchestras and guitars. So it really varies on each song individually. Each one's its own creation, its own original sound. So it varies. It really varies.
So like, there's goth there's metal, there's industrial. How would you describe it?
Wow. I really don't know how. I mean, I'm going to leave that up to you viewers and listeners for Yinzer to decide. That's but I grew up listening to everything, really. I mean, from classical music to industrial to metal to thrash metal to, and I just kind of take it all in, and it becomes Silicon Kong. So.
How long have you been performing?
Oh, about 20 plus years, 2 decades at least, minimal. So
I
was in bands before. I've been well known in different various bands: April's Fool, Steel Mana, F6, Demise. It was a death metal band. I mean, so I've been around.
Now, did you play bass in them? Were you singing? What?
Depending on the group, like April's Fool, I played bass and sang. Steel Mana, I played bass and sang, but I also shared that with J.D. Wolf, who I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot of here recently. He's a comrade of mine, an acquaintance that I played. He's played guitar with me over the years. So, and F6 was just me and my guitarist, Dustin Marks, and a laptop at the time. And that was the industrial thing. But primarily it's been bass and vocals. So, yeah.
So, We do have some people popping in the chat room. We just had John Ballistic from the Underground Jukebox arrive.
Thank you, John.
And Michael, I don't want to mess up his last name, Scherer.
Oh yeah, he thinks he's the manager. We'll get to that later.
John Lee Machika of First Angel Media is hanging out with us as well.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so it's let's talk about this first, and nobody's gonna have any idea how's your van coming along?
Clarice's, she's good. I just put a new ignition module on her, new coil, new plugs, new wires. It's going out probably I'm gonna say next month to get the panel on it and get it in primer. And for those of you who would like to have more information on Clarice, go to the Silicon Kong page on Facebook and you'll see her.
And if I'm not mistaken, that the van has a role in the movie that you're in, correct?
Yeah. That's basically in the movie. I started off in a tent, went to a teepee, then I ended up living in the van. So yeah, that's all it has to do with the movie, though. So,
the movie is called The Still City Architect.
Pittsburgh rockumentary. Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of insight on what it's going to be about and when it'll be released?
Yeah, well, anyone here, I'm sure anyone here that's cool, at least, will know who Spinal Tap is. And I've always been a huge fan of Spinal Tap. And for years and years and years, I always thought to myself that it would be interesting to do a more modern take on Spinal Tap. I kind of change it up a little bit. And, I'm also a producer and an actor. So I happened to get in touch with another producer, a couple such of producers, Downcast Spark, Drew Moreland, who's the one of the producers in the Steel City Architect. And we was discussing my ideas for this. And I was like, well, I'd like to do this someday, but, and he was like, okay, let's go. So we did it. And it took 3 years. The purpose of that, she wanted to have 3 years of actual pounding the pavement sort of thing with a Pittsburgh artist. So it took 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. It took 3 years to finish to film the whole thing in its entirety. And it's going to be epic. Trust me, you'll love it. And it's going to be released coincidentally right before Spinal Tap 2.
What are the release plans for it? Is it more indie or is there a?
You know what? She's still working on it. Like I said, probably within the next month, because what we're doing now is, now that we have decided we wanted to add a few things to it, some animation stuff like that. We wanted to, and we decided to throw just a couple more things in to keep it interesting. So basically within the next month, there's going to be a huge promotion, a huge internet assault of this. You'll be seeing Silicon Kong's name everywhere. So just you'll be able to find it in a lot of places that I don't even know of. So basically all I can tell everybody is to keep up on the page and just keep looking out on the internet for Silicon Kong, because he'll be everywhere.
So I'm going to ask you one more question in this segment, and then we're going to take our first break. And that question comes from Jonna. She would like to know where your name comes from, Silicon Kong.
My name. Well, whenever I was growing up, which you remember, Bill, you're my age. At Thanksgiving time, remember they would always play King Kong and then the Wizard of Oz and then King Kong. That was every Thursday in Western Pennsylvania. I'm a Yinzer, total Yinzer. All right. And I remember growing up watching that, and King Kong was always my favorite monster movie. As the years went on, what happened was in and out of bands, playing bass and singing. I've always had a love for dark music, spawning from Depeche Mode. I mean, the new wave movement of the 80s was awesome. 9 Inch Nails, etc. Anyway, and I was like, well, and I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so anything that you hear Silicon Kong on any radio format, I play everything except for drums. Studio drums are done by Kane Cross. He's my studio drummer. You can find him on Facebook if you want to find him. But anyway, and I became a multi-instrumentalist just because I wanted to. And I basically turned to the electrical side of things. And the name came from kind of like the king of electrical programming music, electrical rock. So Silicon, as in Silicon Valley, Kong. So he's basically the apex predator of the electrical rock music scene. What he thinks he is, anyway. he's totally a character. So he's a totally made up fictitious character that I made up in my mind. So
very cool. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our first break, and we're gonna hear your songs "Cyber Jesus" and "Siren Head," and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
And I am about to spin a wheel to find out who is winning 2 tickets to Crowbot at the Craft House on May 15th. But before I do that, courtesy of Dressy Entertainment, by the way, before I do that, I'm going to rattle off some shows that we either have tickets to give away for coming up or we've already given away. So on May 3rd, we gave away tickets for Jefferson Starship. May 7th, already given away Shredfest with Obscure at Preserving. We gave away tickets to Filter at Jurgles last week. A while ago, we gave away 2 sets of tickets to Zilch's 20th Anniversary Union Show, which is May 10th at the Craft House. We have the Crowbot tickets that we're giving away this evening for May 15th. May 17th, we have the Alt Rocks at Jurgles. The 22nd, we gave away 2 sets of tickets a while ago for Blood Union, Dying Breed, and A Common Crown at Jurgles. We still have tickets to give away for the Altered Egos on June 13th at Jurgles. Clutch, June 17th in the Ruby Amphitheater. Fear at Preserving Underground on June 20th. June 27th, we have 2 tickets for Slaughter with Truck Stop and Post Traumatic at Jurgles. July 9th, I need to update this. It's Rocket Mafia, and I know we have some local openers. I just can't remember who they are off the top of my head right now. That is at Jurgles. We have 2 tickets to see the legendary Buddy Guy at Capitol Theater on July 16th. Billy Price Band at the Craft House, July 25th. Sweet with the Creedmoors and Rattlebones at Jurgles on July 31st. Striper on the 17th of August at Jurgles. August 23rd, Bill Toms and Hard Rain with VZ and M Acoustic Union. August 27th, Sister Hazel with the Sages at Jurgles. Lita Ford at Jurgles on September 24th. Mushroom Head with Psycho Stick and Black Satellite at Preserving Underground on October 21st. And many more to come. Head over to musicfrom412.com/contest for more information. For tonight's show, the Crowbot show that I'm giving away tickets for, that show, as I mentioned, is May 15th at the Craft House Stage and Grill. Sorry, my internet connection is not cooperating right now. There we go. All right, so the Crowbot show is the White Rabbit Tour, presented by Dressy Entertainment. As always, tickets are courtesy of Dressy Entertainment. And on behalf of Music from the 412, the doors are 5:30 p.m. with the 7 p.m. show. Tickets range from $15 to $17. It is all ages. They do want to mention that you should check out their full menu of tasty options while you're there. They do have preferred seating, which you can contact them. It's limited availability for that. It includes 8 tickets and premium seating. Once again, that is for Crowbot on May 15th. I had 3 people that joined us for this one. It's Keith Laydig, Lily Six, and Jeff Brooks. I'm going to add their names 3 times, so they'll be on there 4 times. I'm going to hit shuffle once and twice and spin, and we're going to find out who is headed to see Crowbot on May 15th at the Craft House, and that person is Lily Six. So Lily, you know how this works. You're going to get an email with information on how to get those tickets. And so keep an eye on your email. Everybody else, there are all those shows that I just mentioned that you can still win tickets for. Head to musicfrom412.com/contest to enter. And we're going to head back to my interview with Silicon Kong here on the Pennsylvania Rock Show. And we're heading into segment number 2 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 771. If you were not watching on the video and you're listening on the radio side, we just gave away 2 tickets to Dressy Entertainment show for Crowbot and a band we're going to hear from later called Yiga Digga. We'll talk about them and then after the next segment. But the tickets were won by Lily Six. And if you're not familiar with who she is, you haven't been paying attention. So with me tonight is Ian Hemi from Silicon Kong. Ian reacted when I said Lily's name.
Oh yeah, I know Lily. She's a big supporter of you too. Thank you, Lily.
Yes, and she has her own show on Rock Rage Radio.
Yep.
On Thursdays, I believe it's 6 p.m.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of good support, like from John Ballistic, Rock Revolution Radio, Doc Rock. I mean, it's just been the past couple months. It's been really inspiring. And I thank all of you for helping support Silicon Kong. He appreciates it.
So let's talk about your nickname, the David Lee Roth of Goth.
Like I said, I was trying to remember years and years ago, somebody gave me that name. I played a show. It was in Pittsburgh. It was in Clareton. I'm trying to remember who it was, but it was a patron there. I ended up getting to know his name, but I forgot it for the life of me. I can't. Anyway, he after the show, he was like, "You know what, dude?" He said, "You remind me of David Lee Roth, but you're Goth. You're like the David Lee Roth of Goth." And I just kind of stuck. So, because Silicon Kong is extremely positive, extremely energetic. I mean, you've seen him play, Bill. I mean, he enjoys being up there on stage, and he enjoys entertaining people. And he's a very regular blue collar Yinzer guy, and he really appreciates the fact that he gets to go out and do that, and people appreciate it. And that's one thing that he'll never forget. So, thank all of Yinz for that.
So we have another question coming from the chat room. They would like to know, you mentioned earlier that you're a multi-instrumentalist. They would like to know what instruments you can play.
I can play, ready? Bass, of course. I'm primarily a bassist. I play regular guitar. I play mandolin. I play piano. I play saxophone. I play violin. And I play lap harp. Lap harp, because I did use a lap harp in Cyber Jesus. So the old lap harp, lap harps.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, so those, I play anything that ever made noise. Growing up, I just wanted to learn how to play it. I've always just had a love. I actually suffer from synesthesia, which some people will know that's a condition where if you hear music, you see colors. Oh. And I've always wanted to. That was my way of purveying what I seen through my synesthesia. Because I hear an instrument, and it's a different color. It's a certain color. And I've always just loved colors and stuff like that. And that's just one of those things that come with that condition, which I'm not regretting at all, because it's been a great help to me. So
I have never heard of that.
Yep.
Another question coming from the chat room. When did you start to get your inspiration to play music?
When? Well, I grew up in a very, like Bill knows, I grew up in Greensburg, and my family was very musical. My dad was an oldies fan, still is an oldies fan. My mom liked the old school country, the real country. Okay. Not what, anyway, you know what I mean? Like Johnny Cash and George Jones, Tammy Wynette, stuff like, and my grandfather loved classical music. And and Bill, I've told Bill this before, we had a garage for 50 years. My grandfather owned a garage in Greensburg for 50 years. And every time we would go down there, that's what he would have on the radio. He'd have a WQED. That's what he played throughout the whole garage. So growing up, listening to that and just loving classical music because of that. So that just, I was always musical. I mean, growing up, we had 3 channels. There wasn't much to watch on TV.
2, 4, 6.
There was none of this. Hold on. There was none of that. So, and I just always, because of my upbringing and the music that I was introduced to from a very young age, like my sister was a huge Black Sabbath fan, Prince fan, Kiss fan. I mean, and I was getting pounded all this music from different sides all my life, and I just fell in love with it, because I found that it was a good way to express myself in many ways that commonly I wouldn't be able to do. You know, I'm one of those people that my music, if in the write-up, which was very nice, by the way, that you put up, I'm a storyteller. Much like the bands of the 80s where they would sit and tell stories, Iron Maiden and Dio and so on and so forth, Prince and Duran Duran. I mean, these bands told stories in various songs, and I was always a big fan of that. So that's what I try to do. So.
I'm going to let you in on a little behind the curtain story here. I type up the general idea of what those notes say, and then I run it through ChatGPT and let it fix it. But if any of my students are listening, don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a build the scene Pennsylvania rock show type question here.
Okay.
But it's going to answer a question that somebody just asked in the chat room. So you're getting ready to go on tour and you hire me to drive you on tour. When we're in between show stops, what are we going to listen to while we're traveling?
Oh, it all depends on what part of the country we're in. Depends on it. It really pertains to the landscape at that particular moment.
Hey, so maybe we won't answer the question. I'm going to ask it their way so they can get their answer. What band or person would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Wow. Oh, there's so many. So many. Because being a multi-instrumentalist, I like my guitar. I can go try to rattle them off real fast. My guitar technique, Aldo Nova. I loved Aldo Nova. Bass, I love Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. Piano, anything that the Who did. Wow. I really can't narrow that down because I just take so much. I've taken so much influence from so many bands. But if I had to put out there, probably 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, 9 Inch Nails. Trent's from the area. I was actually fortunate enough to meet him once, and really cool guy, really cool dude. And he was doing that. He brought that movement to light. So out of that, simply because of that, I think he would have to definitely be in the top 3. It would be like him and Static X. Loved Static X when they came out. And Rush was another one of my favorite bands. So those 3 would probably be my top 3 favorites. The biggest influences. Yeah, probably.
So I'm not going to comment or ask this question, but I'm going to comment on it from the chat. Someone is showing that they are slightly younger than us because they asked if you have any vinyl or CDs because, CDs were that long ago.
Yeah, I got a ton of them. I have a ton of them. I actually have like a little, not in this particular one, but where my studio is, I actually have like the old album covers. I got a Pink Floyd, I got the Cars, I got the Eagles. So, vinyl. I still got a lot of it. And the thing about my vinyl is it's original. It's from back in the day. CDs. Oh, I got at least 3 cases full of them. Like I said, I like everything if I liked it. Even like a lot of the 90s bands that went underestimated, like the Goo Goo Dolls, the Marvelous 3. I mean, there's a lot of that kind of a pop, kind of like a post poppy punk thing going on. A lot of those bands in the 90s were actually really good. So I have a lot of that, a lot of classic stuff. Like I said, I mentioned the Who. The Bulls definitely probably my biggest bass influence. The bass is from the Who. I'll let you have your pick. I got stacks of them like this. We'll go through them and we'll pick something.
All right, so we're going to take our second break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Those of you on the radio side, I mentioned that we're going to hear from Yinzer Digga, and that is going to happen right now. It's a brand new song from Yinzer Digga called Bounce. They are playing that Crowbot show that I just gave tickets away to on the 15th of May with Crowbot at the Craft House. The name of the album is The Rise of Alistair Ignatius, and it will be available on May 3rd on their website, yiggadigga.com, We're also going to hear a Grimrock song. I cannot speak this segment. Grimrock Shine is the name of that track. And we will be right back. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Bill. We're back on episode 771 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show. You just heard Grimrock Shine, and right before that was Yiga Digga Bounce from their new album, The Rise of Alistair Ignatius, out on May 3rd. Go to yigadigga.com for that. With me tonight is Ian Hemi from Silicon Kong. I'm going to ask him 3 more questions. And, you have to make this one quick. Do you have an appreciation for the 60s band, The Beatles?
Yeah, actually I do. I actually covered Day in the Life. So yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so 3 questions. One is the unofficial build a scene question, and I know you're going to kind of take a turn on it, but the question is, what's the best pizza you've ever had because you're a musician? And we talked a little bit off the air, and you're going to tell me what.
Not a big pizza fan. No. Sorry.
So that's a quick one. The second question is the official build a scene question, and that is, who is your Dave Grohl? And by that I mean, what artist do you want to go up on stage with and perform one of their originals with them?
Till Lindemann.
That was quick.
Rammstein. Oh yeah, Till Lindemann.
Any song in particular?
Oh wow, I like to do Adios. Adios, yeah.
Let's see if we have any other questions in here real quick. You answered those ones really fast. All right, let's go with this one.
Okay.
What's coming up next for Silicon Kong?
Well, like I said, right now we're focusing on the promotion of the movie. Like I said, that will be an epic movie, and you should see it. And from that on, you mentioned Grim Rock, I'm very close to, and Zilch. I'm glad to hear Zilch is back. I don't know how many shows with them back in the day. It's good to hear they're back. So
yeah, cool. I think it's a one-off, and it's every member that was in the band at any point.
Original, really? Snake too? Wow,
yep.
Awesome. I'll have to definitely. I have to check. I have to get in touch with them. I love. Yeah, I did shows with them years and years ago. But anyway,
that show, if I didn't mention, I don't remember, is May 10th at the Craft House.
Yeah, you did mention it. So okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking into that. Like I said, because I just, they were very back then they were a great band, and they still are. There's just definitely one of those bands. Whenever you're a local guy, like I'm from Greensburg, and back then that was one of the things. Well, what local band could you play with? And at that time, it was Zilch. It had to be Zilch. That was it. So they were iconic. So good to hear them back. Anyway, shows. Like I said, I'd like to get some shows. I haven't really been approached with any yet. So if Silicon Kong with some shows.
Yes, how would they do that? How can they get a hold of you?
Just contact me, Messenger, Facebook, whatever. Preferably Messenger. Just contact me and say, hey, possible show, blah blah blah. Would you be interested? Like I said, me and Grimrock did a bunch of shows, which Bill remembers last year. We did a bunch of them together. I do want to throw out before you get too much further. It's
facebook.com/Silicon Kong.
Yes, Silicon Kong.
The people watching the video can see it throughout the show, but that's the first time we mentioned it on the radio. So again, it's facebook.com/Silicon Kong.
Yeah, either that or you can even just go to my personal Facebook, the Ian Hemi. That one's easy to find too. And there's actually links to everything on there, my YouTube, my Reverb Nation, the SoundCloud. I mean, there's all kind of links there for cool videos, cool audio, blah blah blah, yada yada. So either one of those, if anybody wants to message me, or, maybe try to get something together, I'll be more than happy to look into it and see what we can do.
Very cool. I'm going to ask you. We have a little bit more time. We went through that pretty quick. So you're leaving a gig, and there's a DeLorean sitting out there with the door up in the air and a flux capacitor in the back. Where are you going in time, and what band are you going to hang out and attempt to play with?
Okay, so I think I'm going to go back to simply because I thought this was really, I enjoyed this show. I'm going back to 1995, and I'm going with No Doubt.
Not what I was expecting.
Exactly. See, nobody knows that. Oh, No Doubt was, I think, Gwen Stefani, and No Doubt was just one of those most iconic bands ever. I mean, they were just great. I seen them live with the Goo Goo Dolls and Bush. Probably one of the most energetic, most entertaining shows I've ever seen. And from that day on, I became hooked on No Doubt. So, yeah, there you go.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what's coming up here at the end of the show. We're going to hear from a band called We Are the Catalyst, and the song is Enemy Inside. We're also going to hear from the Jaded Lips and their song Loose Change, which was released fairly recently. Next week, I'm going to have my cousin on. I don't normally say things like that. I'm going to have my cousin's band on. They are called Cabin Full of Bears. I always want to say beers. Cabin Full of Bears. They are from
that cabin.
They're from like the Brookville area.
Okay.
They've been playing on and off, I want to say, for 12 years.
Yeah. A lot of us have been doing that, like I said. So, a lot of us are coming back. Some of us didn't, some of us did. So.
And once again, make sure you go to facebook.com/SiliconKong to follow what Ian has going on. Buildascene.com, firstangelmedia.com, musicfrom412.com, all those stations I mentioned at the beginning. Make sure you head out and check them out. And as always, go out and support some local music, watch the shows, buy some merchandise, because that's where the bands are making their money. It's not from the door.
I mean, like I said recently, I hate the button, but when we play shows, we want you to come there to see them. So please, if you come to see a band, your local band, and we're good, show up. Don't think about, I'm interested and maybe. Show up, because we appreciate it, and that's why we do it. We love to do it, and we love to see yous there. So.
Hey, with that said, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, Ian.
Thank you.
And we are going to head out for the evening. Make sure you join us each and every Monday night, 9 p.m. on all kinds of social media locations for the live interview. And then 10 p.m. you'll be able to hear the full radio show, all the music and the interview integrated. And then it plays throughout the week on various radio stations. On Music from the 412, it plays on Thursday nights after Underground Jukebox. So Underground Jukebox is at 8 o'clock. Pennsylvania Rock Show replay at 9. And then we're also on Music from the 412 at 2 p.m. on Saturday and 3 p.m. on Sundays. And I would tell you the other ones, but I don't have them memorized. But and they change often.
You're there.
So with that said, we're going to head out into the evening. Up next is that We Are the Catalyst track, The Enemy Inside, and ending things for the night, Loose Change by the Jaded Lips.